the battle is on really to define Kamala Harris to those voters who don't really know her. And so we've already seen the Republicans wheeling out attack ads using her famous word salads, her strange, long-winded answers to questions she can't quite answer, her laughing.
I want to start then on our top story. He took his time, didn't he? Really thought about it, didn't he? But yeah, Biden's out of the running for 2024. Keir Starmer's been speaking in the Commons, reflecting on that news. Keir Starmer in the Commons. Let's first of all say hello and welcome to David Charter, Times assistant editor in the US. Hello to you, David.
Hello, John from Washington, D.C.
Always welcome, David. Kamala Harris, then, in your view, at this stage, I know there's a lot of the game still to be played out, but to you, does she have both hands on the prize yet of being the presidential runner for the Democrats?
Oh, yes, it's all being locked down by the Harris people. She's registered the Harris for President campaign. She's been hitting the phones to important figures around the country. Even potential vice presidential running mate figures are being consulted with. And we've seen some party delegations already pledging all their delegates to Harris. So I think Tennessee was the first, 77 delegates, followed by South Carolina. The Texas delegation is meeting tonight. It seems pretty clear now she's had the endorsements of pretty much everyone who could have stood as a rival that she's not going to face a competition. And also, I think the party feels a little shabby about the way Biden had to be forced out and didn't have the stomach for another battle. Even if they'd promised to play nice, it could still have got nasty, of course, again. And they don't want, nobody in the Democratic Party that I've spoken to wants to have yet more infighting. They've got a tremendous opportunity here to present a united front. It may backfire. It will be portrayed by the Republicans as a stitch-up, I've no doubt. But for the feeling in the party is that Kamala Harris is going to be their nominee, and they're all lining up behind her to take on Trump.
Oh, you've got to hand it to Kamala Harris, David, haven't you? I mean, Joe Biden took his time bowing to the inevitable, but Kamala Harris, she moved very quickly to sew up those necessary endorsements. Still haven't heard from, well, Barack Obama, although he was neutral, formerly neutral the last time around. And Nancy Pelosi, the former leader in the House of Representatives, she hasn't spoken out yet, has she? And isn't there a sense that she would like to have seen a wider contest?
I think there is, but no doubt they smell the coffee on this one. And I think what's really going on here is that in order to try and avoid perhaps the too much of an impression of an establishment stitch-up and an anti-democratic coronation, they've kept quiet during this phase. But they both wanted Biden to go and to abandon his second-term hopes. And clearly, Kamala Harris was always going to be a strong contender for the nomination, and they're not going to dispute her ascendancy now. It's really for presentational purposes, for making it look like it's Harris's work, and they want it to seem a little more organic than a sort of Obama Pelosi stitch up.
Right. So let's just then take it that it's in the bag, as good as in the bag for Kamala Harris. Just give me your appraisal, David, of Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate, because her path to this point has been pretty bumpy, a bit up and down.
Yeah, she's going to have a honeymoon period. I'm not sure it will last that long. Everything is incredibly compressed and truncated now, of course, with just over 3 months to go to the actual election, and early voting due to start in some states in a matter of weeks. So the battle is on really to define Kamala Harris to those voters who don't really know her. And so we've already seen the Republicans wheeling out attack ads using her famous word salads, her strange, long-winded answers to questions she can't quite answer, her laughing, with cackling Kamala. We're going to hear a lot more about that. And fundamentally, her lack of achievement in the VP slot, where it is traditionally very hard to shine because you're not supposed to take the glory away from the president. But she was handed this role of trying to tidy up and stop arrivals at the southern border from Mexico, people from all over the world. And she famously said in 2022 that the border is secure, only for in 2023 for there to be record arrivals of asylum seekers and people just illegally crossing the border, gaps in the wall that Biden stopped building when he took over from Trump's famous wall, of course. And this is going to be the main angle of attack, that she's proven that she can't keep America safe. Now, that's a big policy attack that is going to resonate, I think, with the undecided voters. To counter that, of course, they will try and present her as the prosecutor against the felon. So she was the former Attorney General of California. She's been very forensic in her cross-examination of Republicans in the Senate, very memorably asking tough questions of judicial nominations like Brett Kavanaugh during the Supreme Court nominations. That's what she's got to be seen to be doing to land some blows on Trump.
Yes.
To say to play on her record as a fearless prosecutor in a state of California, where she's had a lot of criticism for pursuing, for example, cannabis cases against a lot of young black men during her career. This record will be litigated heavily during the remaining weeks of the campaign, and the Democrats will obviously try and use it to present her as a strong, objective, and fearless leader.
Yeah.
No one who is, the Dems can play the age card now. Of course, she turned 60 before the election in October. But that's considerably younger than Trump at 78, who is going to be now the oldest person ever to try and become president.
Yeah, and well, she's an experienced prosecutor now facing a convicted felon as the Republican opponent. Well, it's going to be such a dust up. David, as ever, really, really good to talk to you. And you do realize, David, don't you, heading up the Times coverage in America, you have the best job on the planet. You know that, don't you?
I just have to pinch myself, John. I saw you, of course, in Milwaukee, and we kind of couldn't believe our luck in a way, could we? It's a privilege to have a ringside seat at this extraordinary moment in history.
Yeah, you know what?